What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Niner Sickness coming to you live on a Tuesday afternoon with my brothers from a different mothers. We got my brother Pete. What's up, Pete?
What's going on, Beto? Another beautiful day in Ninerland. Another win. Getting ready for this next game.
Absolutely. What's up, Brandon? What you got going on?
What's going on, Beto? Just another day in paradise. We got the dub, and I can't wait to get into this conversation with all the Brock Purdy slander from the media. So let's get
Yeah,
it going, baby.
let's get it going. Yeah, this whole Brock Purdy stuff is never. It seems like it's never going to end, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the Packers game first. I don't know about you guys, but it was a pretty damn close game, more closer than I really wanted it to be. It had me on the edge of my seat, biting all my nails, wondering, oh crap, is this going to be our season where we're going to have to tolerate Cowboy fans listening to their cries about, well, you're joining us on the couch and you got beaten by the seventh seed as well. And then you're going to hear all these Ram fans chirping away. But Brock Purdy, as bad as the game that he had, he said, I am not done with this season. I still want to continue when it mattered most, when the
Said no
pressure was
mames.
on the most. The whole time going into the fourth quarter down by 7. I believe Shanahan was 0-30. Now he's 1-30, so he's starting to build up. But hey, if you're going to get that one, why not get it in the playoffs? They can advance you to the NFC Championship game. What a play by Brock Purdy. Pete, I want to get your thoughts on Brock Purdy and what you thought, not about the whole game, but just in that last drive where the Niners needed him to step up. What was your thoughts on that?
I don't really think you can talk about that last drive unless you talk about what happened before that in the game. And the game was just he wasn't his best. It was another rain game. He admittedly had issues with the ball slipping out of his hands early on. He tried the glove, then he tried without the glove, and it just wasn't working out for him. Um, Kyle still didn't know how to pivot and move the game plan around, but it is what it is. It came down to that last drive, and Purdy just it kind of showed us who he was, and I think people forget that in that the other game where he in inclement weather when it was raining, against the Browns, the same thing happened. Even though he had a bad game for most of the game, he came through at the end and guided them down the field. It was just that it was a missed field goal in that game. This game, he didn't leave it up to the field goal. They ended up getting the touchdown, and it's just it just goes to show that you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to be perfect. This is football. This is a sport. It's not about you don't get style points. It's about just coming through when you need to come through, and that's what Brock did.
Exactly. I agree with you 100%. The first three quarter don't matter when you get the dub. It doesn't matter when you get the dub. Brandon, I want to ask you. We notice when there's water involved, rain. Brock Purdy does have a little difficult gripping that ball, but I didn't see no bad. I saw bad throws, but I didn't see the ball coming out of his hand like where he lost control of the ball. I want to ask you, Brandon, your personal thoughts on Rust. Did you see Rust? Be not throwing the ball for what 21 days, and then finally going out there. Brock Purdy's the type of quarterback that needs to have that timing going. He's an anticipation type of quarterback. He's not your Lamar Jackson where he can bail out with his legs. How bad or how much did this Rust show up in that game, in your opinion, Brandon?
I think it kind of showed up a little bit, at least. You know, the they start off slow, which I didn't want them to. For one, and two. the throws weren't there. They weren't coming to Purdy right away like they usually do. And to be honest with you, Beto, I feel like the rain did kind of affect the grip on the ball for him as well. He tried it with the glove. It didn't work out. He took it off, played without the glove the rest of the game. You even saw during one of his dropbacks that he wiped off his hand on his pants to try to get a better grip on the ball as well. So, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Brock Purdy struggled, and the team itself struggled. And I think it has to do with the bye week as well. So, but like we said, they came back in the fourth quarter, looked like the original self, and Purdy drove down the field to win us the game. So, I mean, at the end of the day, dude, a win's a win. No matter how bad we played, we got it done. So that's my take on that.
Exactly, bro. And I just want to add to that you know what, the Brock Purdy haters are out there, the Wrights of the world, the Nick Wrights of the world. You know, I forgot the name of the other co-host of his. He kind of put him in his place on the show. First, yeah, he said, like, because Nick Bright had given the Niners, he had said that if Brock Purdy needs to do this A, B, and C for him to believe that he can do it, right? He's like, he has to do this. He has to do. I have to see him do this. I have to see him play without one of the Avengers, which he played without Deebo Samuel. He has to. I want to see him come back from behind and win the game when the game matters. He did that. All the boxes were checked by Brock Purdy, but yet his comment is, well, I wasn't impressed. I wasn't impressed by the way he played in the first three quarters. It's like, no matter what he does, people want to be right and they don't want to be wrong. So if they look stupid trying to be right, they will do that. It's like, at what point?
He can't win.
Yeah. At what point are you going to just admit that a 7th round pick that was overlooked by the Niners included is playing good football? And this is what we need to acknowledge, that he's playing good football. And these guys don't want to admit it. The whole fact that he came from behind did that. He did this, did that. I mean, all the things that he's doing now, the only thing that does worry me is his ability to grip that ball in the rain, because we know that going forward, we are going to be in situations in rain, particularly in the playoffs, because that's more towards December and January. And depending where we play, does that worry you, Pete, that going forward, if he doesn't fix this, or if this is something that is not fixable, that it can hurt us in the long run? Or do you think this can get fixed and it's not as big deal as we all try to make it out to be?
Well, I mean, I don't think that you can fix small hands. Like, it is what it is. Like, but Kyle has to game plan accordingly. And that's what I think it has to happen. I said after the game against the Browns, I put a whole bunch of questions on Twitter. I was like, this is going to be a question for the foreseeable future until we see him play well in inclement weather. It's going to happen. And I mean, he still hasn't shown that he can play up to his normal standard. Now, granted, he threw the ball 39 times, which is just weird.
That's bias too.
Yeah, which is just weird for Kyle to have him throw the most times he's thrown in a rain game, but when in a 1-score game. So don't tell me that he had to throw to come back. There was no reason for him to be throwing that much. But at the same time, I think that this is going to be something that it just kind of lingers with him. Kyle's going to have to come up with a different kind of game plan to make things easier on him and take some of the pressure off, like running the ball with the best running back in the league, and Chris McCaffrey, and so that he doesn't have, so he has maybe more than 11 carries by the fourth quarter. I mean,
see, and that's what I was trying to allude to, and then you brought it up. Great that you brought it up. Brandon, I mean, if Brock Purdy is not comfortable in the rain, you got arguably the best running back in the NFL. You got Jordan Mason and the Elijah Mitchell just sitting there healthy. Why do you think Kyle threw more passes than running? What is your thought process of what was going through Kyle's mind in this? Like, why not run the ball, and particularly in this type of weather? This is a run type of game. Did that kind of surprise you that he threw more than run? And what is your thoughts about the whole ordeal?
Well, I kept saying during the game, tweeting it out, and also putting it in my my live streaming play-by-play, whatever, that to run the damn ball, and we weren't doing that. And that goes back to Kyle being conservative for some strange ass reason. I don't know why. Yeah, for real. And Purdy didn't need to throw that many times. Like, mind you, again, that is the highest attempts that he's thrown this season, and 39 times is crazy to me, especially for a quarterback that doesn't really need to throw that many times when we have a awesome backfield. And then another thing too is, notice that Elijah Mitchell didn't get any touches either. Like, it was all CMC when we did run. So I mean, we need to figure.
No! Don't forget about Juwan Jennings.
Oh yeah, and Juwan Jennings. Debo goes out, and then he thought that Juwan was freaking Debo, and went freaking had a brain fart or something, because that didn't work out so well. Now did it?
No, I heard that it was he called a play, and I'm not making excuses, and I hope people don't misinterpret me as trying to make excuses for Kyle, but he did say in his presser that he called a play. I guess he didn't realize the play that he called, and he was looking down. By the time he looked up, he's like, "Oh crap, that's the wrong one." But by that time, it was too late for him to do anything about it, and he just ran with it, literally trying to run with it. But it didn't work out. Shit like that happens. When you start seeing it happen more often than none, that's when I begin to question Kyle. But under pressure, under duress, I can see that kind of happened. That I thought it was smart, no, but who was that?
Who was that?
What?
That was terrible. Hopefully it don't happen again. But it is what it is. We won the game. That's what's important. Did Brock Purdy play great? No. The problem is this: the defense didn't play well either. They gave up over 100 yards rushing to Aaron Jones. Okay, they were getting gashed. They couldn't get off the field through the majority of the game, and people still want to just. It was because of Brock Purdy's bad play that the Niners almost lost the game. You know what? Like Sherman said, almost, coulda, shoulda, woulda. What if the Green Bay Packers would have caught that interception? It would have been a pick six to the house by Brock Purdy throwing it. These are what ifs. You don't know first of all, you don't know if it would have been a pick six. It looked like it could have been, but you don't know if he would have got there. Second of all, you know what? We missed a couple of throws our way as well that we dropped from Jordan Love. They missed a field goal. We missed a field goal. Okay, both teams were not playing great, but you had a team that played probably its worst all season long.
Turnover battle.
Over all year long, they played their worst across the board. Call it rust, call it what you want, but they found a way to win when it mattered. When you got a veteran team compared to a young team, the veterans stepped up. The Lenore's was playing like fire was coming out of his head.
Lenore was a beast.
You got Greenlaw doing his thing, making us have heart attacks with running around with the ball instead of just going down. It's like come on, bro. I mean, I love the whole idea of it. He had a conversation when he had a conversation with people with Fred Warner about a pick six, but you got to know when to go down, man. Real quick, before we continue on, let's acknowledge people that are in here real quick. We got, oops, hold on, guys. We got Jimmy Perez in the house. What's up? We got Jason Parks in the house. What's up, brother? We got Marcus Persons in the house. Welcome, welcome. Pearson, excuse me. We got David McNiner in the house. What's up,
What
David?
up, David?
Welcome. We got this weirdo in the chat.
I know, mom is.
But we love the weirdo. We got, let's see, Brad in the house. What's up, Brad? I'll get back to your comments in a minute. I just want to make sure I acknowledge everybody. We got Dion from Niner Podcast in the house. What's up, Dion? We got Daniel Burry Sports in the house. Welcome, welcome. We got Alex Guerrero Molina in the house. Welcome, brother. Welcome, welcome to the chat. We got Maya in the house. Welcome. We got Mia, excuse me. We got Luis Moreno in the house. Welcome. We got Beth in the house. How you doing, Beth? Good to see you. Welcome. I am a Lions fan. You all are going to be brutal to play. She's a real fan. It's going to be a good game. We're going to talk about that in depth in a few minutes.
What up,
We got
Jess?
East and Coast Red and Gold podcast, Jess in the house. And then we got Daniel Cantu in the house.
Daniel.
I'll get back to the comments in a few minutes. But yeah, that Green Bay game was tough to watch. Rust, whatever you want to call it. But it was tough to watch. The Green Bay Packers had an opportunity to win it. We could, our year could have ended, but it didn't. Listen, all I've been hearing all week to this point is, oh my God, we play like crap. The Detroit Lions played really well against Tampa. Should we be afraid? Anything can happen on any given Sunday. I give you that. Anything can happen. You got to be prepared for the team you're facing. But if you're going to ask me if the Niners are afraid to play the Lions, I mean, look across the board. Look at the matchups. Look at the team. The Niners are the better team than the Lions. The Niners just started rough. I'm telling you, rust is a real thing. It happens. It throws off timing. It throws everything off. But they won this game. They know how important the NFC Championship game is. They were here last year. They lost to the Eagles because of our quarterback situation. They can taste it. They're hungrier. I think that the Lions are more like, wow, look, we made it, right? Like we made it. We're after so many years, we haven't been here since '94. We finally got to the dance before the dance, the NFC Championship. So they're in awe, right? They're sitting there in awe, trying to just take everything in. Beautiful story about Dan Campbell and the Lions. Great football team. They did great. I am so glad for the city of Detroit, for the fan base that have been suffering for so many years, going through so many losses. I am truly happy for them. They're going to be very good teams years to come. But the Niners are on a mission. The Niners are hungry. The Niners have been here before. They want to get across that line, and they're going to fight much harder than the Lions. Listen, I said this, and I'll give you guys an opportunity to speak. I said this on my show yesterday. If the Lions lose, it sucks for the fan base. It hurts. I understand all that. You're loyal to your team. You want your team to make it all the way. But you have something to look forward to next year. Like, how far can we go? How good can we be? Because the future is ahead of you. If the Niners lose, it's a completely different conversation. It's not, well, let's look forward to next year. It's like, can we ever get there? Are we ever going to get there? So we are in two different places. Pete, I'll start with you. What is the difference between the Niners losing compared to the Lions losing, in your opinion, towards the fan base?
I mean, if the 49ers lose, we are going to be right back where we were last season, which is questioning Kyle, questioning the quarterback position, questioning like everything. And is this are Lynch and Shanahan good enough to get the job done? Like I mean, let's just count. They'll probably find a way to bring up Trey Lance again. It'll just be it'll just be chaotic as it normally is when after a 49ers season. But it's just it'll just be typical 49er fare. Like the 49ers have to win. They have to win and they can't just win. Then they can't just get to the Super Bowl. They have to win the Super Bowl because we're talking about a season where they went out and got Randy Gregory. They went out and got Chase Young. They went out and got a Javon Hargrave. They went out and they really stacked this roster for this stretch run. And this is, like we talked about earlier, this is the healthiest that this team has been. Granted, Debo went down last game, but there's probably a good chance he's going to play this week. So yeah, it's winner or like chaos. That's where we're at. The house could just really burn down at this point.
Yeah. What do you want to add there, Brandon?
No, basically, we gotta win. This is must win until after the Super Bowl. This is the year that we basically went all in. Like Pete said, we got Chase Young, we got Randy Gregory to help us out. Like there's no excuses. I definitely for sure see the Niners playing 100% better this Sunday. And it's also sunny and 70 degrees this week, so we're in the clear from the rain, so we're good on that part.
Yeah.
But I think Kyle calls a different game this weekend, and the team just looks better all around. I feel like the only thing I have questions about is our front line on defense right now, because our run defense is not doing that great. I thought it was going to be better with Eric Armstead back, but dude, Aaron Jones ran all over us last week. So I'm hoping they get better this weekend for sure.
Yeah, I'm with you. Listen, I know my brother from another mother. I love Dion from Niner Gang Podcast. Beautiful man, wonderful person. I just don't agree with, we don't agree. We don't come eye to eye when it comes to Kyle Shanahan. I understand his frustrations. I understand his concerns. I'm not ignoring his concerns. But the fact that if Kyle wins the Super Bowl, goes to the Super Bowl and wins it, he's only going to be successful. If he doesn't get there, he's not the coach that we wanted. Does he have areas that he needs to improve? Of course. But he brought a comment up. He said a comment here that I want to read. He says, in that game against the Packers, that last 2-minute drill was trashed by Kyle. I don't quite understand that. Wasn't that the
I think he's talking
drive
about
where we won the game?
I think he's talking about the half. I'm guessing he's
I
talking
think he is talking about the half.
Okay,
Yeah.
before that. Okay, well,
Yeah, because that was kind of shitty too. I think we should have gone for it. At least I think we could have gotten 7 there, to be honest.
Well,
It was just
but,
weird. It was weird. They had 4 minutes. It wasn't even 2-minute drill. It was 4 minutes.
you're right. And he should have did things different. And hindsight, 2020 is always good when things happen. If Brock Purdy would have made that field goal, we would have been talking about it as much. Shooting, Moody, excuse me, yeah. If he would have made it, but the point is, he didn't make it. Go ahead.
Real quick, that's when I'm talking about that Kyle is being conservative, like how Dion brings up when we talk on our shows. Like Pete said, we had 4 minutes left. We could have easily got 7 there, man. We were going down the field. We could have gotten that first down.
But can you guarantee they would have got 7?
Well, they were.
Dude.
No, you
They were
can't.
driving
There's
down
no
the hill.
way you can guarantee that, bro. Come
You
on.
can't guarantee it, but the thing is that they weren't in any kind of. There was no sense of urgency.
No, no,
They were letting the clock just run.
agree with. He should have tried to go for it. He should have trusted his defense that with 30 seconds left on the clock, if he missed it, didn't get it, that his defense would not allow the Packers to go all the way down the field and score. Are there some plays that I get upset with Kyle? Absolutely. But let's be honest. How many mistakes have we done in our work that people can say like, man, what are you doing, Pete? What are you doing, Brandon? What are you doing, Beto? And I'm like, yeah, I kind of did this wrong. I got to kind of fix it. We're all human. And we tend to forget that because we're passionate fan base that love our team. So when Kyle makes a bad mistake, we want to crucify him. But then when Kyle wins all these games, we can't acknowledge that.
I got something.
Go ahead.
I got something. Okay. So I get that. I love Kyle to death. Like, I think he is the best coach for this team. I love the culture that him and Lynch bring to the team. I've said it over and over and over again. Like, but I just want Kyle to be better. That's my thing. I want him to learn from these mistakes that he continues to make. Like, they have learned from a lot of the mistakes that they've made since he's been here, and they fixed a lot of the things. But there's certain aspects of Kyle's play calling that he just does not fix. And I don't know what it is and why he gets so tight in certain moments that it's just weird. It's just weird because everybody wants to call him a genius, but then he has a brain fart like that where he doesn't even attempt to get a touchdown. Like, that's just basic football. That's just basic football. It's not that's not something to make that's like a mistake. That's just bad planning. And I think that's the biggest issue I think that a lot of people see with Kyle is that in weird moments he decides to go and he likes to zig when everybody thinks he's going to zag all the time, and it ends up catching up with him. I think that there's been a few times that it's kept us from getting over the hump, and but I just want him to be better. I think he can get there, and I've seen him learn so much over the past 7 years that I just want him to get over the hump, and I just want him to get past that part because I think he truly can be one of the greatest coaches ever if he could just get over his little mental blocks on certain aspects and just call the game.
You want to add anything, Brandon, before I jump in?
No, I agree completely with Pete. Go ahead, Beto.
Okay, no worries. And again, I'm not making any excuses for Kyle. Kyle has some areas that he needs to work on, but since he's been here, I have been enjoying games. Since he's been here, I can walk around my neighborhood, wherever I go around my friends with my hat up, my chin up, prideful that we win double-digit games. I understand that the ultimate goal is to win the Super Bowl, and that's what the Niners are trying to do every year. But since Kyle's been here, we forget the Tamsulas. We forget the Chip Kellys. We forget all these coaches that are terrible out there. So have we won a Super Bowl yet? No. But are we in does Kyle give us the opportunity to do that? He does. This is our fourth NFC championship game in 5 years. Mm-hmm. Okay? Our fourth one in 5 years. People might say, well, that's not good enough. Tell that to the Cowboy fans. Tell that to other fans that haven't even made it to the championship. We are spoiled. Okay?
Hey, mind you, too, the Lions have appeared more than the Cowboys have in the NFC Championship.
Yes, they have. That's how hard it is to get to the NFC Championship game, and particularly to get to the Super Bowl. Again, am I settling for that? No. I want a Super Bowl. I want to be remembered as a champion. I do. But I'm not going to sit there and dismiss that getting to the NFC Championship 4 times out of 5 years is nothing. It is something to be proud of. It is something to be look up to because we got there. We're relevant. We're not a team that can't make the playoffs. We're not a team that goes out one and done. Cowboys did the one and done thing. We're not a one and done. Since Kyle's been here, when have we lost our first game in the playoffs?
No, we haven't.
We haven't. With two quarterbacks, whether they can throw or not, we haven't. Kyle has done some great things for this organization and some shitty things. Let's hope he can work on the shitty things, on his pride, on areas that he needs to work on. But there's no other coach right now that it's not Andy Reid or Tom, the guy from the Pittsburgh Steelers, that I wouldn't take over Kyle. People want to dismiss Kyle. Well, he can't get us to the Super Bowl. We can't. Well, who are you replacing him with?
Yeah.
Do you want to go back to the Chip Kellys? Do you want to go back to the damn Tamsulas? The Mike Nolans?
But there's a lot of people, Beto, that would trade a Super Bowl and would not mind being trash for the next 10 years after that.
I'm not one of them.
Like, I agree with you. I'm right there with you. I'm a big fan of the culture and the fact that they continuously bring good people. We have the best roster in the league.
Yep.
And it is fun to watch the 49ers. I'm all about it. I am all about it. I want to see Kyle develop even more because I truly believe that he could go down as one of the greats of all time. There's a couple of mental blocks that he has. And and we see it. Like, I mean, Debo goes out of the game and all of a sudden you got all these all pros on the offense, but this offense can't function. And that's just weird. That's weird. But
yeah,
but I agree with you that I also do not want him going anywhere. I want Kyle to be the coach. I just want him to be better.
There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with. Of course, you want him to be better. But let me ask you, Pete. Since 2017, now 2023, have you seen progress with Kyle? Have you seen him get better?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
he is getting better. That's always to me enough. That shows me that every year he gets better. He's not the same Kyle in 2017 that he is today. If he was, I don't care how genius you are, I don't care how good you are, get out of here. But he has shown every year that he has gotten better. Maybe we want him to get better quicker rather than later, like the drive-thrus instead of home cooking. And I understand the frustration of that. But we're one game away for playing in the Super Bowl.
I just want to be able to talk shit on Twitter.
No. That's an honest response as a fan. But
look, if we win the Super Bowl this year, you bet your ass I'm going all over Twitter. And
I'm gonna be in every space, and I'm gonna be in every space, and all you, and I know it's some of y'all listening out there. Like, I'm gonna be insufferable.
Oh, we're capping everybody.
See, this is what I don't agree with Dion. I'm sorry, Dion. And you are entitled to your opinion. And I can't say I respect your opinion because I don't. But I respect you as a person. And I know that's the way you feel, and I respect you as a person. But this comment here, Pete, I need some help here. Do you agree with Dion here on this?
No. I don't. Me and Dion have had we've been on shows at the same time, and we've talked about this. We just have differing views on it. Every fan can have their view on. They can fan the way that they want to. That's just not the way I roll. I'd rather just be good at all the time, and then hopefully you eventually break through. Because getting that one Super Bowl and being trash after is exactly the same thing.
Yeah, you get a ring. And you get to enjoy it, and you can say you can say we have our sixth Super Bowl ring in our archives, but the next few years, and I'm not saying we could be trash, but there's two sides to every story, bro. I understand the desire to win a ring, but if you're good every year, if you're relevant, if you're playing good football, if you have a good roster, it gives you opportunities to always say, maybe this is the year. There's teams out there when they start the season, they cannot sit there and go, this is the year we're making it to the Super Bowl. They're like,
can I bring up something?
Yeah.
At the I know that a lot of people on here are on Twitter, and they saw before the game. Did everybody see Azeez Al-Shaair on the field doing the dance
hell
with
yeah,
the
I did.
linebackers?
That was dope.
Did anybody else see Solomon Thomas in there with a
Yep.
49er jersey on?
Yeah.
Even BOYZ's brother is in there with a
Yep.
Niner jersey on.
Yep. 2 Chainz was there also.
Yeah, the culture. Yeah, he doesn't actually play, but like regardless, like the culture on this team, even guys, it's not just former players. It's guys that are currently playing for other teams feel the need to come back because they love their boys and they love this culture so much. They all talk nice about Kyle, and they all respect Kyle. Like this is the thing. This is the biggest thing is what would happen if tomorrow Kyle and Lynch, or even just Kyle, got fired. There would be such a humongous vacuum that, like, I don't think that you can replace that right away. We would go years and years trying to rebuild what we have right now. And like, there's nobody that could come in there and just replace what Kyle brought to this team. I just don't think that it's possible. And maybe you have a name, or somebody else and maybe Dion has a name. I don't have a name, and it's just, I mean, it is what it is. But I respect the opinion. I understand the passion, and like, and I want it just as badly as you do. The last time the 49ers won, I was a senior in high school, and I've had my Jerry Rice jersey in plastic since then. Damn. I want to break it out.
Break it out for this Super Bowl.
I don't take it out of the plastic until we win.
Okay.
Now, real quick, Dion says that Harbaugh could have win as a champion. He had his opportunity and didn't do it.
This is the thing about, and can I mention Harbaugh? Okay, because I'm a Michigan fan as well. Harbaugh's culture was dying.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you can say what you want to, and you can blame it on
players didn't want to play for him.
You can blame it on Balky. You can blame it on whoever you want to. Does everybody remember that they were 500 his last season?
Yeah,
his last season they went 8-8.
Yeah, they were not good. They were a disappointment. It was imploding, and people are going to blame Balky for that. But I mean, you're the coach. You're the coach. Like it's your locker room. And so Harbaugh is, until this year with Michigan, I'd always said about Harbaugh that he was always good enough just to get you there. He was never going to be able to get over the top because his rah-rah spiel, it works for a couple of years. That's why he's so good in college, is because he only has him there for a couple of years. But in the pros, and you're dealing with grown men, that stuff is only going to last for so long.
Yep.
And like, and eventually people are going to want results. And his offense was trash. His offense, and I know that 49er fans ain't going to want to hear that. There's a lot of people that love Harbaugh to death. But look up the numbers. Look up the numbers. His offense was middle of the road at best.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you think you want him, but I assure you to rethink that.
You know, and I understand, like I said, Dion, I love you, brother. I understand your situation and how you feel, and you feel deprived of a Super Bowl. It's been a long time. A lot of the young generation hasn't experienced. I know you have, but a lot of the people haven't experienced. But it's not like Kyle doesn't want to win. That's what he does. And he says, one game away from meaning nothing. We can say we made it, but that doesn't mean nothing if we just wind up sitting at home like everyone. But that's a statement that I can agree on. You're right. But you got to get there to have an opportunity to win and go to the Super Bowl. Cowboy fans cannot even say what you're saying right now. They can't even make it to the NFC Championship, much less then the Super Bowl, now you might say, well, I don't care about the Cowboy fans. Okay, you don't have to care, or nobody has to care about the Cowboy fans, but that is reality. Cowboy fans and other teams cannot even make it to the NFC Championship game. Tampa tried to do it, couldn't do it. All the teams that lost in the playoffs tried to get there, and they could not get there. Buffalo Bills tried to get there. They had the opportunity to do so. They were playing Mahomes at their house for the first time, and yet they failed to win over Kansas City, and they're not making it. It is hard to get to the NFC Championship game. And Brock Purdy, for all the slander that he gets, he has gotten us to 2 back-to-back NFC Championship games. Okay? He's done what Dak Prescott only wishes he can do. Now, again, we want to win the Super Bowl. That is our main goal, absolutely. People say, it's Super Bowl or bust. I disagree. It's Super Bowl or failure in the sense you failed to meet your goals of winning a Lombardi. But if you are in the Super Bowl, first and foremost, how is that season a bust? How are you a bust if you made it that far? You might have missed out on your goal, which is to bring the Lombardi home. But how can you be a bust? I don't understand that, guys. How can you be a bust? And I understand what they're referring to, but you're not Super Bowl or bust. You just did not, you got there, but you didn't get the whole thing, and it's disappointing. I understand. But Kyle and John, every year, gets us opportunity to hope for. Listen, we're talking about one game away. We're talking about one game away of making it to the Super Bowl, aren't we? Next week. Mm-hmm. Do you think Dallas Cowboy fans are talking about the same? Do you think Buffalo fans are talking about the same? Do you think the Texans and D'Amico Ryans is talking about the same? Whatever, all these teams, Tampa Bay, do you think they're talking about one game away? No, their season is done. The Packers are done. We are in the playoffs still. We're one game away. Hopefully we can get it done, go to the Super Bowl, and compete with the Ravens or the Chiefs. Those are going to be 2 good teams that we're going to face. But we have the opportunity because of the great roster and the great coaching and development that is going on in Santa Clara. Does Kyle need to change his pride? Yes. Is he an egoistic person? Yes. But who is it? Who can tell me someone that is not competitive and it's not egoistic? Anybody that's competitive is that way. It's just part of the culture, isn't it? Or am I just tripping?
Oh no, it is. But I would say, are people, people compare Kyle to Andy Reid all the time. And people forget that Andy Reid, he went to 5 straight NFC Championship games? And I think he went to one Super Bowl for the Eagles. Mm-hmm. And then he had to get, I don't know if he got fired or if he left, but the Eagles. But then he ended up having to go to another team, start another culture over again, luck up into Pat Mahomes. And if he doesn't luck up into Pat Mahomes, we're still probably talking about Andy Reid can't win the big one. Yeah. Let's just be real. So I think we're just, if Kyle wins one with Brock Purdy, I mean, you got to put him up there. You got to put him up there. Think about
after
the what?
So what does the media say after that happens?
But it'll be about Kyle and it won't be about Brock Purdy.
Exactly. Yeah. Real quick, guys, hold your thought. Pete, I'll come right back. We got a super chat and we got to honor the super chat in here real quick.
Absolutely.
Let's honor the super chat. Roberto Davis with a $5 super chat. Reality is there are 28 teams right now hating life because they got no chance. We got a chance. That's all you get in life. Absolutely. Thank you for the $5 super chat, brother. Truly, truly appreciate that, my friend. Well said, man. Well said. Again, we have a comment, and I'll bring this comment up from my boy, Brad. He says, Beto, I hear what you are saying, but with this football team, if we don't win the Super Bowl, how now, not sure when they will. And again, Kyle knows this, Brad. He wants to. I don't. It's not like Kyle's sitting here like, if we win, fine. If we don't, you know what I mean? He wants to win. Believe it or not, he probably wants to win a Super Bowl more than we do as fans because it's his legacy. It's his resume that gets added to that. We just win a Super Bowl. We're happy as fans. But it's his legacy that gets tarnished or gets built upon. He wants to win it. And I understand Trent Williams is not going to be with us very long. We're probably going to lose some players here and there because of monies and things going on. Because once we pay Brock, I understand all that. I want to win a Super Bowl as bad as anyone. But all I'm saying is if we don't, as much as it sucks, I cannot sit there and say that we did not have a good run in 2022 just because we didn't win it. It would suck to lose. Yeah. But I don't know about you guys, I can't speak for no one else, but for myself, I still enjoyed watching every freaking game. Other than the Ravens one. But every other game, I enjoy watching. Why? Because my teams were winning. When we beat the Cowboys, who we all hate, 42-10, don't tell me you were sitting there pumping your chest. Yeah. When we beat Philly, in Philly, we were all hyped up, bumping chests and doing everything we could. Why? Because our team was doing great. Don't dismiss that and the process of not winning a championship as we're no good or Kyle sucks. Hopefully we can win it all. I don't know about you, Pete and Brandon. That is our goal. It is. We want to win a championship, but I enjoy this season. It will be like a cake with the, what do you call it, with the topping or the cherry on top if a Super Bowl is won, of course. But it doesn't take away how good, yes, I'm a big boy and I use food as an analogy. The cake is still good, but it tastes better with ice cream. So delicious. Of course it'll be better with the Super Bowl. But you can't take away from the cake if it tastes good within itself. That's all I'm saying. And sometimes we lose that because we don't win the big one. Brandon, you've been a little quieter than all of us. Let me get your honest opinion. And you're young. Is for you, if we don't win the Super Bowl, is it a completely lost season for you? Like it wasn't fun. It doesn't matter if whoever we beat. It doesn't matter the record we had. It doesn't matter. You want to forget about that season because we didn't win it all. Your honest opinion.
Yeah, Super Bowl. I'm one of the ones that says Super Bowl or bust. I want this team to win so bad already. We've been to the same conference championship for the past 4 years, and we haven't gotten over the hump besides the 2019 season. So I would love for them to make it to the Super Bowl and win. So, yeah, Super Bowl or bust, in my opinion.
But does
what are you gonna? If they don't win, what are you gonna do?
I'm gonna punch people. I'm gonna throw hands. Damn it! I'm gonna punch a wall.
If they don't win the Super Bowl, the game against the Philadelphia Eagles, that game is not going to be fun for you to watch when you watched it no more.
Did it make us win a ring? No. I don't give a shit, bro. I want a ring.
So when we won that game against the Eagles, did you just like, okay, next game, or did you celebrate that win?
No, it was great that we beat them, but
who gives a shit? You said who gives a shit about the game, so you should have just said, okay, next game. My point being is, every game that we win is fun to watch, isn't it?
Yeah.
And hopefully we'll get to watch the last game and we win that game, which is the Super Bowl. But I'm just saying, enjoy the games we win. Go ahead, Pete.
Beto. Like, do you remember when we won the last one in 94?
Yeah.
The feeling that when we beat Dallas and like that feeling in the NFC Championship game, just beating Dallas, because everybody knew at that time that was the Super Bowl.
Yeah,
that was the real Super Bowl.
Yeah, it didn't matter what happened in the real Super Bowl. It
didn't even really matter what happened to the real Super Bowl. We all knew we were going to beat the Chargers.
Because whoever represented the NFC is going to win it. Absolutely.
Yeah, back then the NFC was just destroying the AFC. It is. I want that for all the younger fans, because Brandon don't remember that. He's never had a chance. to go to have that feeling. And so I
I
understand. I understand.
absolutely.
Like it's it sucks. Like it sucks. Like be just rooting for a team over and over and over again, and they just can't get over, or they get close, and there is no more excruciating pain than Kaepernick barely missing Crabtree in the end
Yeah,
Oh,
zone.
I hear you,
Baltimore.
bro.
There was no
that's
worse pain
painful.
like than when you almost get one, and but especially for the people that have like I can say, oh, like I've seen multiple Super Bowl wins by the Niners, but a lot of these fans out here today, they can't say that. They can't say that they've seen it. So I get it. I get it, and I completely validate your feelings, Brandon.
No, no.
Like,
With,
let me
with
put it
that
this
said,
way
I
real quick.
agree with you, Brandon,
Yeah.
Dion, and all those. I think Dion
Well,
did see one, but
yeah.
those that have not seen a Super Bowl other than a rerun on VHS or whatever you watched it at,
I still have it on VHS.
yeah, so do I. I do understand. I'm not trying to be insensitive. You know, I got to see all 5 Super Bowls. I got to go to the parades in San Francisco and watch them go down and lift the Lamborghini. And we were champions all year long. The pride in that as a fan. I want that as well for each and every young Niner fan that has never experienced that. I want to see the Steve Young yell, hold the trophy like he's having a heart attack,
Oh,
next to Jerry Rice. I want to see that feeling for Brandon. I want to see it for Brad, for everybody in the chat that hasn't seen one. I do want that. I do want that. And hopefully this will be the year that we can experience that. But all I'm saying is that it's not a bad year just because we don't get it. It is frustrating because we don't get to see what we want to see, but it's still a good year in my opinion. But hopefully at the end of this season, we'll be talking about how the San Francisco 49ers are Super Bowl champions and Dion can fall in love all over again with Kyle and marry
man.
Kyle after the Super Bowl.
Right.
And that'll be the ring that Kyle puts on Dion's finger is
And
that
what if
Super
this is
Bowl
the
ring.
beginning?
I love it.
What if this is the beginning of the Purdy, like
Come on now.
20
I wouldn't
years
be hating
20
it.
years of Purdy?
Yes. Hey, let me put it this way, guys. Let me put it this way. I've seen my other teams win titles, and I felt some type of way about them. Right? I've seen my Giants win three out of the 5 years that they won. I've seen the Warriors win 4 out of the 5 years that they won. So the only team left right now is my Niners and of course the Sharks. But I'm not seeing the Sharks anytime soon. So we're just focusing on the Niners right now. So it'd be freaking wonderful to see the Niners finally win one.
And football just means, I don't know. Football, it just means so much. I've been a fan of baseball and basketball for so long, and like, but football championships to me,
Mm-hmm.
just mean so much. They just hit different, and like because there's so few and far between. Like teams just don't. I mean, the whole Patriots thing, that just doesn't happen normally. And we like us winning what, 4 in the 80s. It was 4, right? Yeah, it was, well, kind of. But it that doesn't, even that's a lot. That's a lot for any team.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's just they're so, those football ones are so special. And uh yeah, like I said, I just want to talk shit on Twitter.
No, we all do. We all want to see. We all want to be champions.
All
I
right.
played that song earlier. We are champions. We want to hear that. We want to hear that. We want to experience that, and we deserve it. The San Francisco 49ers fan base deserves a Super Bowl. It's been a long time. I mean, the last time we won a Super Bowl, the internet was in here. TikTok and all those were in here.
Yeah.
VHS was still, you know what I mean, playing using VHS type. So it's time to update our process by winning the Super Bowl. But I think this is the year that we have a great opportunity to do that. Before we go on and read more comments, I want to show the video that my boy Brendan gave us to watch. It's the Richard Sherman on Undisputed with Keon Johnson, whatever his name is, and Mr. I call him racist, but Skip Bayless on here. Hold on, guys. Let me see if I can bring up that screen real quick. There he is. Let me do something real quick.
Charge.
Where is? All right, here we go. Tell me if you guys can hear it.
It's going to always be Kyle Shanahan.
But it's only because it's Brock Purdy. And that's what I don't get, because I'm going to make another point, and it's going back in history for San Francisco. We go back to Montana. We go back to Steve Young. We go back to Roger Craig. We go back to Jerry Rice, the greatest receiver of all time. We go back to all these guys that they had, John Taylor. They had all this talent, and they had Bill Walsh, one of the greatest in the history of National Football League, calling the plays. But I did not hear that taking away from Joe Montana or Steve Young's talent and their ability to push the ball down the field, even though he's drawing up incredible plays. It's not like, oh, Bill Walsh called this play, so Steve Young's arm isn't great because Bill Walsh called these plays and Jerry Rice called the football.
But it's also how you come into the league, Skip. It's also how you come in. When you come in as Mr. Irrelevant, you're just not going to get that. That's just that. And look, is it unfair? Yeah, it is. It is. It is, because you're starting at the bottom and you're trying to climb all the way up to the top, and nobody is just going to allow you to go from 7th-round pick at the bottom all the way to the top. It took Tom Brady forever. Right. It didn't happen in his first 3 Super Bowls. He had to go through a stretch of not getting there. Then all of a sudden, it was like Tom Brady couldn't do any wrong, no matter what.
But I just, the reason I have a problem with it, Key, is because the criticism they get. They hold him to a standard like he's a first rounder, like he's a top 5 pick, but they don't give him the credit when he does play up to that level. But when he doesn't, it's like you only give him blame, you never give him credit. So when he's playing, he can only get blame. He can never get credit. So when he plays well, it's gonna be everybody else. But when he doesn't play well, it's gonna be him. He's the reason why it didn't go well. So when he has a game-winning drive, it's like, oh, well, he's got the only game-winning drive in the game. But if he was Jordan Love and he would have, hey, he has a chance to win the game, there's 1 minute left, he needs to drive down the field, and he threw back across the field an interception to a linebacker, Skip would be on this set saying, I told you it would come back to bite him. But when it's Jordan Love, they talk about how incredible his arm talent is and how similar he is to Aaron and Brett Favre. And, oh, man, the young kid he just didn't have enough on this day, when Jordan Love has been in the league longer than Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy has played a year and a half. He's played a year and a half worth of football.
I feel like, Skip, this is a little personal.
It's
I feel a little 5th round personal. I got drafted in the 5th round. They're wrong. Look at all am I right?
You're right.
Because I can feel it. I'm like, you digging too deep, bruh.
It's hurt because there's a lot of hurt in there. Because it's like, when do we get the credit? Why do I have to play at an ultra high level when this guy's not playing at a higher level than me just to get the same credit?
You should have went higher in the draft, man.
All right, let's get. That's a valid point, right?
You talking to anybody that's been watching my Twitter the last couple of days knows that you are preaching to the choir. Like it makes absolutely zero sense. The reason why the national media has been killing on Purdy. And it's funny because right after the game, they could not wait to bash on Purdy. But then the next day, today, all of a sudden, it was like it's like the national media had been watching Twitter all day, saw us calling them stupid for all the stupid takes that they were making. And then they did a complete 180 today.
Yep.
Like it was the weirdest thing on the planet. Yep. But people started bringing up numbers and everything, and they started being made to look like morons. And here we are. Now all of a sudden you got Shannon Sharp picking up Purdy. Now you got Sherm always does. But then then you had, who was the other guy?
Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee.
Yeah, Pat McAfee gets out there and does a whole show almost, and brings Kittle on there, and like that, like it's wild. It's wild.
See what happens when you get Aaron Rodgers off the show. Pat McAfee can start actually enjoying his podcasting.
Like actually happens.
But you know what? You're right. Pat McAfee had enough. This guy's like, can we stop the slander of Brock Purdy? I mean, when is it going to be enough? Now, Keyshawn said that Brady had to win 3 or 4 Super Bowls to get recognition. I don't agree with that. You win 2 Super Bowls. You win a Super Bowl.
They called him a game manager. They called him a game manager from for all 3 of those.
But if he was a first round pick, what would they called him? What they called him? They would have called him a winner.
They would have called him a winner.
So
they would have called him a winner.
Why is it that much hate for a 7th round or compared to a first round? Is it because these so-called experts feel first round picks they got it right? And all these late picks, they didn't get it right, and they just can't humble themselves to admit when they were wrong. So they got to continue to try to spit their narrative, how right they are, even though the player or the person is proving them wrong every single time.
Yeah, it's absolutely what it is. Like, I mean, you've got these guys out there whose name, they put their entire name on how they pick guys in the draft and what these guys are going to end up being, and they're wrong so much. They're wrong so much that they like, so whenever one of these guys that it looks like is getting out of that area, the minute they have a bad game, they're right there to say that was the evaluation that I had when is that he wasn't going to be good enough to do XYZ. Like it never fails. It never fails. But you know, how often has Mel Kiper? How often has he been wrong? Oh. But yet and still, he is out there every single. ESPN drags his carcass out there every single season and calls him an expert, even though he's wrong on probably 65% of the picks that he makes. Like, but they just keep dragging him out there. So it's just. It is what it is. Like you just know what it is, and people that figure it out, like figure out what ESPN and all of them are, they go and there's a whole bunch of better options out there. The Draft Network does great work. There's a couple of PFF, not PFF, but PFF does a pretty decent job, but PFN, I think is the name of it. They have a mock draft simulator, and they've got some good. Like good scouting department. There's a lot of Locked On. Locked On has a great draft show. There's a lot of options out there. People just have to find them, and there's a lot of people that just don't know where to go to get the actual good content. People just trust in ESPN, but ESPN's been trash for years.
And real quick, guys, let's go ahead and transition over to this comment from Luis Moreno. I want to get your thoughts. I know we talked about it a little bit. He says, they threw out a stat, Niners and Cowboys. He's talking about the catch game. Montana had a horrible game. I believe he had 3 INTs and a fumble. You are correct about that. Last, but came back to win the game. Point is, there's games you have to win ugly. Listen, we know who Joe Montana is today. He's the GOAT for a lot of Niner fans. He's in the Hall of Fame. He had a wonderful career. But at this point right here, at this game right here, and I was there at Candlestick, that game right there, Joe Montana wasn't the 4-time Super Bowl champion. Joe Montana wasn't the GOAT. Joe Montana wasn't the Hall of Famer. Joe Montana was a 3rd-round pick from Notre Dame that struggled in a championship game, but won it when it count. And it's remembered because he won it. And now, fast forward, we know what Joe Montana is. I don't know. We don't know what Brock Purdy's going to be. We don't know. Only time will tell. But 5, 6, 10 years from now, we can talk about Brock Purdy the way we talk about Montana. We don't know. We just don't know. Just like anybody watching this game live, did not know that Joe Montana was going to turn into the Montana we know today. Nobody knew. And if you did, if you said you did, you're lying.
Yeah, you're a liar.
And
You're
and
a
if
liar.
you did, you should be rich because you should have bet money. Or you should have did some investing. The point being is nobody knew, and I want to get your thoughts, Pete and Brandon, of the Montana. He threw 3 INTs and he fumbled the ball once, 4 turnovers, and they came back to win it with a pass that I truly believe wasn't even intended for Clark. Maybe it was, but Clark had to go up and get it to get that a touchdown. But everything else is history. What are your thoughts of this comment by Luis Moreno? Thank you for bringing it up, Luis. Go ahead and add to your points on that, Pete.
Look, like we talked about this one off air. Like Shannon Sharp came out with that stat, and like I mean, it's real talk. Like this, if you look at some of the greatest quarterbacks of all time from yesteryear, back when the games were much different, quarterbacks were almost had as many interceptions as they had touchdowns. Look at some of the greatest quarterbacks. Look at John Elway's stats. They're not good, like by today's standards, but he's considered one of the greatest of all time. But that's because back then defenses were allowed to do a lot more than they are today, and just scoring was a big thing. But you look at some of these quarterbacks, and the reality is this: we put a ridiculous amount of pressure on them to be perfect all the time, and that's not possible. It's not possible to be perfect all the time. You're gonna make mistakes. Most quarterbacks are gonna make mistakes. Patrick Mahomes, the best. I would say everybody would say he's the best quarterback of today, and he makes mistakes. He makes mistakes and things happen, but guess what? He gets a chance to come back and right his wrongs, and that's what it's all about. The game doesn't stop as soon as you make a mistake. The game keeps going, and it gives you an opportunity to come back and right your wrongs. And I feel like that's what the game is all about. It's all about the ebbs and flows, the flow of the game. And I think that's when we talk about the PFFs and all the stats and all the bean counters out there. That's what we miss out on is just the game. It's the game, the flow of the game. There's a lot to be said for that. And we just miss out on it trying to count beans all the time. So that's all I had on that.
You want to add to that, Brandon?
No, I agree with everything Pete said. Yeah, I was going to bring up too, Patrick Mahomes has made mistakes as well in his games, but you don't see anybody bashing him for his mistakes when he plays bad. Josh Allen, same thing. What he did wasn't that great this year. I mean, even though they made it to the divisional round, his season was a struggle, and he has thrown for the most interceptions and everything. But you don't hear anybody really talking hella bad about him. So, any quarterback would make mistakes. So it just mind blows me that they talk this much negative shit about Brock Purdy.
Yeah.
Everybody's going to have a bad game every once in a while. And Saturday night, that was Brock's.
Yeah, like when Joe Montana
he
threw the 3 interceptions.
Exactly.
He got a chance to right his wrong. And he did that. He took advantage of it. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, give him his credit for doing the things that he needed to do to get the win. Like
prior to winning that game against Dallas to get into their first Super Bowl, there was no social media, gentlemen. There was no Twitter. There was no Instagram. There was no TikTok. When Joe Montana had thrown 3 interceptions and then fumbled it, can you imagine the conversation it would have been on the internet if it was today?
Horrible.
You'll be hearing that Joe Montana's a bust. Joe Montana's no good. We should get rid of him. Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, they don't do that. They don't show the rest of the game. They just show the catch.
Yeah.
like, and that's how it was back in the day. Like me and Beto remember before that there was internet and before there was all those things. Like you got a chance to watch the game on the live feed. Maybe if somebody taped it on VHS.
Yes.
But the reality is if you didn't see it while it was going on, all you have to go off of is what everybody else said about it.
Yeah, it's not you're not going to YouTube and watch it. You're not going to NFL Network and watch it. You're not going to have the opportunities to rewatch it like that with no commercials. You're going to have to wait. If you didn't record it, or someone you know didn't record it on VHS, you're screwed.
Yeah, you're not going to get to see it. You weren't going to get to see it.
No,
you get to see the highlights, like on the local news at the time.
That's it. So a lot of us are spoiled. That if we miss a game, we can go straight into a certain app, and you can see that. Real quick, guys, as we got to an hour, let's go over real quick our picks of last week, and let me double check real quick.
And then Beto, after that, I kind of want to get your guys' take on this week's game before we end it.
Oh yeah. We'll leave that as the last pick, and then we'll emphasize on it. All right. So Pete, you took the Chiefs over. You took the Ravens, you took the Lions, and you took the Niners. You're 4-0 on that one, baby.
Woo! Look at that.
Brandon took the Ravens,
finally,
the Lions, the Bills, and the Niners. You're 3-1, Brandon.
Damn.
I took the Ravens, the Bills, the Lions, and Niners. So I'm 3-1 as well.
Champion.
We were 5. So we are 5. Hold on, 5, 8. We're
I was
8
so
and,
deep on the last
8 and
week.
2.
Like
8 and 2. And you were what, Pete? 3 and 3. So you're 7 and 3. All right. So you're 7 and 3. We're 8 and 2 going into the NFC Championship game. First game up is the Baltimore Ravens hosting Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. Lamar versus Mahomes. Who are you taking, Pete?
That's gonna be a good game.
you know what? I'm not going to act like I'm even hesitating. It's going to be KC. Like I just think that, and it has nothing to do with Lamar. Like it has everything to do with, I think that KC has the perfect type of team to beat the Ravens. Like because the one weakness that I see on the Ravens with their defense is the running game. Like and I know people are going to say, well, the Texans couldn't really run the ball, but the Texans couldn't run the ball against anybody all season. So the Chiefs have no problem running the ball, and I feel like the Chiefs' defense is going to be good enough to keep Lamar at bay. So I just think that I think Lamar is going to get somewhat of his, but I just still think that Pat Mahomes is going to do what Pat Mahomes does, and I think it's going to be the Niners. Well, I won't. I guess I got to pick the last one.
But, no, we're going to wait on the Niner one.
To last. Like so, I'm going to say KC for this.
Okay, Brandon, who do you take? Chiefs or Ravens at home?
So, I think it's going to be a good game. I think it's going to go down to the wire. I think I'm going to have to go with the Ravens on this one.
The Ravens?
Yeah.
This one's definitely a hard one because the Ravens have been playing good. They have a great defense. Lamar has been playing, MVP Lamar, whatever. But KC, man, that defense for KC is no joke either.
No joke.
And when you have Patrick Mahomes, who has been there,
and they game up for big games.
Yes,
like that's the thing. Their defense always gets better somehow in the big games.
And I think that Lamar is going to be. I think it's going to be more pressure on Lamar than it is on Patrick Mahomes. Lamar has to get over the hump. Patrick Mahomes is like, I've been here before. I won 2 Super Bowls. He's been to 4. I think 3 Super Bowls. The thing is, he's been there. So I'm with Pete. I take the Chiefs to go in there and beat the Ravens. The Ravens, a good defense. It's going to be a good game, definitely to watch. They're going to have to contain Lamar, but I think they have the guys to do it in front for the Chiefs. Chris Jones is no joke, man. He's a big boy, causing havoc. And let's be honest, people have asked me, who do you rather, when the Niners make the Super Bowl, who would you rather face? The Ravens that we played in 2012 or the 2019 Chiefs? Now, let's be honest. There's there's a single player, there's no players on this roster that played in the 2012 versus the Ravens. Not one single. Coaches included, managers included. Ain't nobody other than the owners that were there. The Kansas City Chief was just a few years back. Bosa was there. Kittle was there. So these guys have a little bit more of a revenge to try to beat the Chiefs. So I think it'll be a better game for the Niners versus the Chiefs than it is against the Ravens. Not because we lost to the Ravens and we can lose to them. Bull crap. I think
they beat them. I think they would beat them. If they beat them.
I think we would too.
I just think that the Chiefs and the Niners would be a better revenge game for the Niners because, like I said, not one single player on the Niners roster had played in that Super Bowl in 2012. Okay, now moving on. Now I'm just going to put Niners across the board. I don't think none of us are taking the Lions.
Hold on. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Hold on.
Bro, my butt cheeks got tight when you said hold on. I'm like, so, Brandon, I want to get your thoughts on this game, and then P, you can follow right after on this game. But just real quick before, I just want to make sure I'm correct. We're all taking the Niners, right?
Yes. Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes.
Go ahead, Brandon.
All right, so just little stat outline to throw out there real quick. The Lions have lost 11 straight road playoff games, and it's the longest streak in the NFL history. The Niners have not lost a home game versus the Lions since 1975. 13 straight wins. Okay, I'll put that stat out there. Okay, here's the other one. Jared Goff is 0-5 versus the 49ers. Okay, I'll put that out there too. This is our bounce back game. It's going to be sunny. It's going to be 70 degrees. Brock Purdy is going to be back to his own self. And Lions defense cannot match up to our receivers whatsoever or CMC.
So what would you do if Dan Campbell had a water hose and was just throwing the water towards Brock Purdy in that game? Hey, I wouldn't put it past Dan Campbell.
So the fact that so here's another thing I want to bring up too. I was listening to First Take today, right? Or maybe it was yesterday. Stephen A says the Niners will not beat the Lions without Deebo Samuel.
Yeah, that was Mondays.
Yeah. Thoughts? Give it to me, Pete.
But hold on. Let Pete finish. Let them talk about the Niners first, bro. Brandon, I love Brandon. Go ahead and comment on the Niners and Lions game, and then you can answer Brandon.
Yeah. So I love all the stats. Mm-hmm. All that tells me is that they're due. My dad used to talk about that. Like anytime we would be watching sports or whatever, and they would show some graphic on there that this guy is 0 for blah 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 blah. Like we'd be like, that just means he's due, and then something big would happen every single time. So I don't even I hate stats like that. But I still think the 49ers are going to beat the Lions.
Yeah, now, stats are meant to be broken, right? Just like records.
They are, but not today. They can
be broken today as long as they don't get broken on Sunday. But I got you.
That's what I mean.
I know. I'm being an ass.
No, mames.
No. Hey, bro, I love both of you guys, man. Listen. I was doing a show with someone else on Tuesdays. When I stopped doing it, they kindly asked me to come back to do their show, and they're doing a great job over there. I love them. They're amazing what they're doing, but I just couldn't leave this pack. You guys are awesome. I really enjoy doing a show with the two of you. We have a lot of things in common, or not common, obviously common Niner, duh. But we have a lot of perspective that we agree on and disagree on as well. I don't know about you guys, but I was thinking about implementing a Dion, but something we'll talk about because he can bring a little bit of a difference. Like sometimes we need to give the audience something to argue or dispute with.
Yeah, I'm down. I'm down.
You know, because let's be honest, when we all agree all the time, people are like, eh. But when you bring a little fire like Dion, like a little firecracker, you know, it'll be fun to watch. But we'll see. But I love the both of you. You guys are amazing. So now that you said what you said, what are your thoughts to Brandon's question?
Yeah, like, I want to finish my thought
Oh,
on the 49er,
sorry.
the 49er game. Like, so I absolutely think the 49ers are going to win. The question to me is Kyle going to make it easier on Brock by running the ball? That is what I just think that it needs to happen. And I don't know if he's trying to save it for if he gets to the Super Bowl, but like we can't be doing that. We can't be doing that, Kyle. Like we need to deploy CMC. We need to get everybody involved. And like it needs to be a full team victory. I just think that they need to go into this with the thought process that they're going to run the ball down Detroit's throat. Now, Detroit has a pretty decent run defense.
Very decent is an understatement, bro.
Yeah, what are they, third against the run? Like, so
and they can
it's
run
not
the
going
ball
to be
very
easy.
well.
But at the same time, that you still have to run the ball to keep them honest. And like that's the whole thing, premise behind it. Now, what was the other question? The other question was about if they don't have Debo, that they can't win. I don't think that if they're planning for no Debo, I think it's different than them just not having Debo. But
absolutely.
But I think that even if they don't have Debo, there is still no excuse for them not winning this game because they have Kittle's an All-Pro. They have Ayuk is a second team All-Pro. CMC is an All-Pro. You have other weapons on this squad, and there is no excuse for losing this game. Period, point blank.
Facts.
So it's I just think that it should not be a problem for an offensive genius to figure out how to use a bunch of all pros to get a victory.
You would hope not.
That's it.
I agree. Hey,
for myself, the Niners and going against Detroit. Again, it's a wonderful Cinderella story. Everyone wants to see Detroit win. Everybody's against the Niners right now, and I would have it no other way. They want to see the Cinderella story. They want to see the Dan Campbell. And again, I want to give credit to Dan Campbell and the Detroit Lions for as well as they played. There's still some pieces that they're missing, but they're a great team. But the Niners have to stop the run. I know it's cliche, I know, but they do. They can't afford to give the Lions that same yardage they gave to Aaron Jones. They got to do better. Now, I believe that this will be the second game of Eric Armstead. So hopefully that'll be better for our run. We're going to close with this, guys. We're going to close with this. Chase Young. Pete, you can go first. Chase Young. Has he been a disappointment since we brought him in totality?
Absolutely. I mean, I don't know if you could call him a disappointment per se because we got him for basically nothing.
Yep.
I mean, he at the very least he's given us depth.
Yep.
And I do think that they've been going against a lot of mobile quarterbacks down the stretch, and it's hard to because for the 49ers, the way that they run their defensive line, it's like bat out of hell, and then they leave a bunch of rushing lanes open. So now they have to consciously think about playing contain, and whereas other teams, for whatever reason, have no problem getting to those guys from time to time. But for the 49ers, they just have a problem getting to mobile quarterbacks. And but I think for this game, Goff is not. I don't consider him a mobile quarterback.
Nope.
I know he can run out of the pocket, but I think that is going to play to the Niners' defensive line's favor. I think he's going to try and get the ball out quick, and so that But I think that this is a perfect opportunity for the 49ers.
Hold on, I have something to bring up if I could find it still.
All right. While he's doing that, I'm gonna just show you this video that we've seen already before. But I love what Brandon said. Do it for the Bay. Let's watch this video real quick, and then Brandon, if you bring that up, I'll bring it up. Let me know. Hold on, guys. Oh, wrong picture. Hold on. What happened? All right. Give me a second, guys. Oh, that's interesting. Hold on.
While we're waiting, so just real quick, guys, the Lions have given up 345 plus passing yards in 5
349 to be exact, bro. I hear you.
Yes, including twice. And guess who? Nick Mullins.
Yeah.
Well, they gave 349 last week to
that's what I'm saying.
Baker Mayfield.
Dude, it's great that the Lions have made it this far and everything, but also realize I feel like they struggled against the Rams, right, in the wild card, and they had a hard time against Tampa Bay as well. I feel like that's just me. What are your thoughts, Pete?
I'll say this: it's two different type of coaching coaches. Like that Tampa Bay is just throw the ball, air it out. They've got the receivers to just go up and get it. They're not really finesse team at all. And Detroit doesn't have the corners to really defend that at all. Now, Kyle's system is meant to break the defense down from a scheme standpoint, and it doesn't matter who you got at corner. It doesn't matter who you got at safety. It's supposed to break down the actual rules of the defense. So sometimes that's why it's so frustrating watching his passing game sometimes, because it looks the same against whether they're a good team or a bad team. Mm-hmm. It's not like if they go up against a bad team that all of a sudden they're just going to blow the doors off. That's not the way Kyle's system. If that team decides to tackle that day, and Kyle's system doesn't really look as good sometimes. So, but I still think that we just have better players and we can get if we can get the ball in those guys' hands, I think they're going to break tackles. I think that they're going to be ready to get some.
All right. Are you guys ready for the video? Finally got it up. Let me know if you guys can hear. You guys can hear it, okay? Here we go.
It's been a long journey. Each week, a different story, a different challenge. But now, at the end of the season, we find ourselves at a new beginning. And right now, it's our time. It's time to silence the doubters. Time to reward the faithful. It's time to dig deeper, to rise higher. Our relentlessness knows no bounds.
Purdy gets out of there, looking deep, back in the end zone. He's got Ayuk for the touchdown.
Our determination has no limits.
We earned this moment. The most physical team gonna win this game today.
And our mission is to leave no doubt.
Oh my goodness.
San Francisco gets the pick. It's Ward. Broken tackle by Deebo Samuel.
What an absolute beast.
They get to Prescott. Nick Bosa.
Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown!
team, for the faithful, for this moment. Do it for the Bay.
Do it for the Bay.
I thought
That's
you were
what
gonna
we're
play
talking
this
about.
It gives me chills. It gives me chills when I see Steve with the ball in his hand like that.
Yeah.
Just don't fumble it, Steve. Don't fumble it.
Right.
Wouldn't it be funny if he drops it? Or like, no, Steve, what are you doing? But to see that with Steve being involved in there and watching. Did you guys watch that take when it came from? It was Steve interviewing Brock.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was a pretty
great.
cool. That was a pretty cool take there as well. All right, guys. Do you have anything you want to show to end this show? We're gonna go. It's over a little bit. Yeah, an hour and a half. So we were definitely going over. Brandon.
Yeah.
My wife won't kill me.
Yeah. His wife's gonna kill him. I thought you were gonna show the music video of "Do It to the Bay," "Do It for the Bay," but no, you're good. I'm fine.
The music video.
Yeah.
Hold on. I have the interview with. Let's see here. Give me a second. Is this it? Hold on. No, that's
P,
not
if you
it.
gotta go, bro, you could go.
You guys saw that?
No.
Oh, I ain't scared. Hold on. No, that's not it. All right, I don't have it either. I thought I did, but I don't. All right,
No
so let's
problem,
go ahead
dude.
and end it. Let's end it on a good note. Give me your score prediction, Pete. What are we winning by in this game?
I'm gonna say last week I was a little bit overzealous, and,
A little bit. We
to
all
say the
were,
least.
though.
And this week I'm going to be a little bit more reserved. I'm going to say 27-21.
27-21. I love it. What about you, Brandon?
I'll say 31-17.
31-17.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I'm gonna say 27-17. 27-17 in this game. Hopefully we're all wrong and it's way up there. But you know what?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if we win by half a point, I don't care. As long as we are in the Super Bowl and we have 2 weeks. We have Super Bowl week to talk to our players and enjoy the whole Super Bowl week. That's what I'm looking forward to it. So everyone, put your thoughts in the comments. Look at him dance. I like that. He looked like those guys from what do you call it? The Roxy guys, the ones I
Knights
forgot.
of the Roxbury.
Yeah, Broxbury, yeah. Going breaking the window. But all right, guys, thank you for tuning in. We've been here for an hour and 35 minutes. That means we were having more fun than usual. Always great time to spend it with my boy Pete and Brandon. Plug in your channels real quick, what you have going on. If you want to follow their channels and support their channels, if you haven't done so already, please look at the comments below. And I have all their social medias on there. All you got to do is click and go. What do you have going on, Pete?
I've got one more show. It's probably going to be either Thursday or Friday. I haven't decided yet. And then I'm going to do my after show after the game on Sunday. So the instant reaction show. So make sure that you check in for that. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. I am on YouTube. And if you don't want to look at my face, you can get the audio version wherever you get your audio podcast. I don't care where you get it. Just get it.
Just
Right on.
get it.
Just get it.
Just get it, Holmes.
What about you, Brandon?
So I plan on trying to do a show with me, you, and Dion. And then P, if you want to, you could hop on as well. And then I think I'm doing another show with Zach and Matt from 49ers Hive and Dion.
And Pete, if you want to join that one, you can.
Yeah, y'all be doing 2-hour shows. I can't I can't.
Yeah,
give
I'm
that much time.
surprised.
He don't invite us to those shows, though, bro.
But yeah, I'll let you know on that one. And then I might do another play-by-play live stream again during the game. last week I was kind of late because I actually went to the stadium for a tailgate, so that's why I was late. But this weekend, if I do it, I'll be on time, and then we'll probably also do a post game show after the game with me and Beto, possibly. I don't know.
We'll definitely keep tuned to our channels. We'll definitely figure something out. Also, for myself, on Friday, I go on with my lovely co-host Jess from East Coast Red and Gold podcast. We do the Niners Now podcast on Fridays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Come and join us and support the channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you, all of you, for your comments in the chat. They were great comments. I just want to say thank you to every single one of you. And let's go Niners. Let's go and beat the Lions. Send them packing home and get our win and move on. Until then, we are out of here. Peace. Bang, bang. Niner gang.
Bang, bang. Do it for the Bay.
Bang, bang.